Good morning, grown Black folks talk. I'm still working on the zero knowledge series. I done found one in a while, y'all. We'll get into that. But I had to interrupt that to talk about this situation around Shannon Sharpe. Now, my general attitude henceforth on this channel is going to be that such men are not worth the paper that they are printed on. However, Shannon Sharpe has made himself an exception to the rule for one specific reason: his daughter. He was on the air fussing about $30,000 for her wedding. And I realized as I thought about the latest incidents with this individual that $30,000 is probably the only generational wealth she's ever going to receive from him. And see, this is the irony. The irony is the daughter actually did things the way Shannon Sharpe's grandmother would have told the great grandmother. She actually got married. She did the traditional wife thing. She actually got married. Now, I don't know if Mr. Sharpe approved of approved of his daughter's husband or not. Because I'm trying to think to myself, why would you publicly humiliate yourself and your daughter by sitting out here showing how stingy you are compared to what's going on? But I had to come back and revise that because Shannon Sharpe knows how much money he made during his NFL career. And he settled enough cases so that he's in serious trouble. We don't know the settlement number for the case with the young lady from OnlyFans, nor do we know the recent settlement number for sure. We know what was being asked for between Shannon Sharpe, Ojo Cinco, and a young black woman, a young black mother who is a doctor, has a doctorate, who is homeschooling her child that they defamed on Nightcap. But let's just say the numbers reported. We know that the number reported in the case of the young lady from OnlyFans is around $23 million. That's what's reported. And then you would have to kind of look at, okay, you're being asked for 20 million in the case with the black sister, with the Dr. Black sister. So let's just say that ended up being 10, of which five is owned by Shannon Sharpe. Do y'all know how much money Shannon Sharpe made during his NFL career? Let's say you're $30 million in the hole between these two settlements, and there's more because now he's got another ex that's coming after him for money. But it doesn't really matter because Shannon Sharpe's entire NFL career of 15 years earned him an estimated $22.3 million. If you have one $23 million settlement, you just wiped out your whole career. I remember Mr. Sharpe being on one of those shows talking about why he was not good in relationships and he wasn't the best because he was focused on trying to get himself and his grandmother out of poverty. He erased all that with his lust and his big mouth, and now has maybe that $30,000 left to give to his daughter. So the very thing that he worked hard as a football player to do, he'll be in the Hall of Fame by his brother sooner or later, most likely. By the way, this is Sterling Sharpe's Hall of Fame weekend, or it was either this weekend or last weekend. You know what it was overshadowed by? Shannon Sharpe foolishness. So, see, I just bring that up because black men damage each other's legacies with the foolery. I'll come back to that too, because that's what they're more interested in. Well, here we have a case where you not only got yourself caught up, but you're also now messing with other black men's legacies too. But I'm not there yet because we have to also look at why Shannon Sharpe thought he could live so recklessly. He had the job at ESPN and he was getting ready to do a $100 million deal. He lost the ESPN, he lost a $100 million deal. ESPN fired him on his day off. When I said that, let me tell you what $100 million is, okay? Y'all have seen me talk about what Pastor D. Manning Jackson and his generation built. El Bethel Missionary Baptist Church was built up, and also our senior housing. $100 million is enough to account for one, two, three, four entire nonprofits serving the Black community. A church, a foundation, and two senior housing projects serving five generations. Mostly Black women because they outlive Black men, as you come on elders, Black men, mostly black women, and black children to the fifth generation from Pastor Jackson's time. I've known all five of these generations. I have been my honor to be born to serve Pastor Jackson's generation. His wife was my first mentor outside my family. Sister Minnie Ruth Jackson made me a secretary early so that I'd be ready 10 years ago, 11 years ago this month actually, to take on being secretary of the board for senior housing. I knew all five generations involved. If you were to add up at a conservative market value in San Francisco, the value of everything involved in doing this, that's how much money Shannon Sharpe lost on a single day behind the food. So not only is he destroying his own legacy, now he got fired from ESPN. So not only is he, by the way, he isn't the only person this weekend. I think Dame Dash got caught up this week or last week. Umar Johnson last night found out that he hadn't paid any of the bills for his property. He's got till around the 25th to figure out how to come up with $38,000 or he's going to lose the property that was supposed to be schools. Who else was put out of his house? The game, I think it was, but may have been put out of his house. And just losing, just losing. LeBron James is out here, he's kept his squeaky clean reputation to this point, but out here as a Laker, photographing himself as a Clippers because Luka Doncic got that big $165 million extension, and the Lakers are signaling that they're moving on. Just out here acting a straight fool. And LeBron James, in the process of wanting to arrive a league to the NBA, not understanding that the person who you have $1 billion and you up against people that one of them has 52 billion or 28 billion or 32 billion, numbers like that. And your son has already had a heart attack playing basketball, Bronny James or LeBron James Jr. But you want what you want, and you cannot see that you're being told no by a power higher than yourself. To go back to Shannon Sharpe, he was out here talking about he wanted a center. He didn't want to be married to a good woman. He certainly hates black women. So at the same time, you're gonna sit up here, you always trying to give us your black grandmother's wisdom when it's convenient to you. But now you out here creating generational wealth for other black women and their daughters. For the retired OnlyFans young woman and whatever children she may have. In the same way that P. Diddy probably put out a similar number of money to pay Cassie Ventura and her children with a white man. They're building generational wealth for that family. Folks, this is what always happens. I don't care how big and powerful you think you are. And if you're white, it takes longer. But the problem with it taking longer is that you get to a position to wreck more. I'll let you do your thinking about looking at all the things that are happening around us in the United States and put two and two together on that. But the thing about Mr. Epstein, his friends range from Bill Clinton through Donald Trump. So there's a whole lot of people that are in that list. It's not just one party involved. So combined, what is having all these men in high places doing for the country? Both parties. To come back down to the small, relative scale of Shannon Sharpe, this man has essentially done, if you take all his settlements plus the ESPN job plus the deal, the market cap of Hive, one of the blockchains I talk about, is not $150 million right now. A whole crypto project. He has done the equivalent of losing two entire senior housing projects, a church, and everything connected with it. He has in San Francisco. He has fumbled a nine-figure bag. He has fumbled the bag so bad that you would have to own 100 Bitcoins and lose them to fumble the bag that bad. $100 million is not a small amount. At least 100 million. We know he lost that deal. We know he's paid out at least $30 million worth of settlements in total. And maybe some more because there are other cases back there. So you don't have a job because you got fired. And my sister mentioned to me that Club Shay Shay isn't owned by him either. He doesn't have to have that either. We'll see what happens. It depends on who wants to go on the show. She said, my sister's Trek Star Sam. I've mentioned her channel before. If y'all are interested in traveling, she's been doing it longer than Stephanie Perry actually has some insights that'll be valuable to you. Trek Star Sam. She said, you know, Kat and Monique literally came on his show and warned him. I'm like, I remember. But see, the thing about it is, lust is blind and has no loyalty, even to the person who is sick with it. A big mouth that likes to talk down black women will run you straight off the edge. Because you cannot, on one side of your life, honor your grandmother, who's a black woman, and on the other side, dishonor the woman in her image. That's simply not going to work. You cannot do those things in the universe. You cannot be out here. Because, see, what happens is the way the universe works, you can only tell a lie for so long. You can only play wise for so long. You can also not be wise and want to be in the company of sinners. That only works for so long. What you always end up doing is destroying yourself and your legacy. You will never escape the name of the wicked shall rot. Never will you escape it. Ever. It takes time sometimes, but you'll never escape it. Ladies, I need you to understand. You cannot afford to connect yourself and any children you may have, anything of any importance to you, to the type of men that admire Shannon Sharpe and the friends of Jeffrey Epstein. Doesn't matter what color. Shannon Sharpe is just the worst case I've seen. But the United States economy is being wrecked by much higher cases of this. You cannot afford to think that your life depends on men acculturated in this way. Most of them will never have 130, 140, $150 million to waste. Granted. But the same mindsets will also waste $15. You need that to help keep your baby alive and indoors. He wants to trick it off on whatever he can afford. He wants to talk down on other people with more power than himself, who then will go and take their actual education and take his high school, middle school behaving behind the court and extract whatever is left of everything that he worked to build in the NFL. That happened. That will also happen to a man who admires. See, you got a generation of men raised by Puff Daddy and Shannon Sharpe, in essence. These are the men that they want to be like. They will be destroyers and wasters of resources. They admire Jeffrey Epstein crowd. And if they had money and access, they want to behave this way. They will do nothing for certain except destroy the legacy that they have and everyone connected to them. See, black men hate it when black women talk about, we don't need y'all like that. Nobody needs a pervert destroying everything in his wake. Nobody needs that. Some of the things that are coming about Umar Johnson are not things that I can repeat on this channel since I keep it rated G and PG occasionally when we cover real hard history. But nobody needs that in their lives. No one needs the destruction that comes from that. Again, if I'm Shannon Sharpe's daughter who received $30,000 for a wedding, I'm sort of sitting here like, well, at least I got an inheritance. Sorry, brother. Sorry, sister. There may not be anything left for you. Imagine the unhappiness in his family. They better hope Uncle Sterling keeps his nose clean and that Shannon Sharpe does not get to dominate the family name and that he will quietly go to a corner and sit down. And since he's destroyed his reputation, just go ahead and leave it alone and not pop back up to make it worse. But see, the other thing is he's in his 50s. There's no telling how many people back up this. See, if somebody said this, if you settle with one, you're gonna open the door because people can see, okay, people talk about Puff Daddy's problems. P. Diddy's problems started when he settled with Cassie Ventura because other people saw that it was possible. It always pays to fight if you're innocent. But if you're not, what are you gonna do? You hope you settle with the person and it goes away, but it opens the door. So you're a bad man for a long time. The door finally opens up because people can see that they can win. It's not just that they see that there's money, but they see that they can win against you and they can take from you the way you took from them. And it does not matter how much money the man has. If he is poor, there are going to be people who will take it out of his blood. And that also can include you and any children attached to him. Steer clear, as the Bible says, mark these men and avoid them. You probably want to take confidence with love, self-confidence with Black women, and then vetting 101 and vetting 102. And then, as much as I hate to say this in some ways, because I see it handwriting on the wall, but it's very sad because I have known high caliber Black men who did not behave this way. This is why I can still talk about what D. Manning Jackson built, because the men that came after him that would have frittered it away were basically removed by the women and the few good men that were left, and are now being in hands of the good women and the few good men that we have still around to take care of it. We didn't have people so lust perverted and crazed and so busy trying to run down someone else better than them, doing more for their children. It's interesting to me that while Shannon Sharpe is fussing about taking care of his daughter, he's with Ocho Cinco putting his mouth on a woman who's taking care of her daughter. Well, now both of them are taking care of her daughter. See, that Black woman got those Black men to take care of some Black children. Just so insecure and hateful because you know you ain't worth nothing. You cannot afford to be around men like that. And I'm not talking about people's intrinsic value. I'm a Christian. The intrinsic value of every human being is established by the fact that God created every human being and then sent the Lord Jesus Christ, his son, and also God, to redeem every human being potentially. It's available to everybody. Now, whether or not people choose to be redeemed and believe on the Lord Jesus Christ as a payment for their sins is up to every human being. But potentially, creation and redemption, it's not has nothing to do with how you work, but you can choose to live a worthless life and have that assigned to you as well. I'm normally not going to cover some of these dramatic men unless there's a reason to do it. The man has a beautiful Black daughter who now has received pretty much the only $30,000 she ever will. I pray for her and her marriage. She does not have a father she can fall back on. Not at all. She has a father who is leaving her nothing but disgrace. That's it. $22 million earned in an NFL career. Gone in a weekend. Four times that worth of a deal. Gone in a weekend. However much he and Ocho Cinco had to pay out to settle the lawsuit with the doctor sister and to make sure her daughter has generational wealth, gone in a day. Whatever other cases there are out there that he's gonna have to try to settle and get out from under, gone. He's not done passing on nothing but humiliation and disgrace. And that's a shame. As the Black daughter of a wonderful father who does every day to please the Lord Jesus Christ and to do what he is called to do toward his family, who we have the honor of also taking good care and making sure he's good. This grieves me. It grieves me that Black men who admire this man are making it so we're going to have to do without them. And so we're going to have to get together and exclude them. It grieves me on a personal level. I understand it's completely necessary at this point, but it grieves me on a personal level because I've seen what Shannon Sharpe could have been and where how far he has fallen from the good father he could have been because he let his lust and his spite and his malice take him to ruin.
Well, he's not ruined yet. He can always do Club Shay Shay.
If he's allowed to keep that. But you know what? Let me tell you something. It's not the easiest thing being a football player. He earned his money the hard way. As he gets older, his body will tell on the work that he's done there too. You know, uh, not the easiest way to do it. So you work 15 years to put more than $20 million together. And for a relatively few moments of pleasure, he's in his 50s. You think he has time to make that money back? You think he's ever going to get another $100 million deal? Anything's possible. But also, everybody is looking at him like, you big dummy, like Fred Sanford said, you big dummy. You 50. You let yourself get taken to the cleaners for everything your career was worth to someone who you started with who's young enough to be your grandchild. You talk smack about black women and let yourself be taken to the cleaners by a Criollo, daughter of conquistadors, Latina, from appearance. She could be any, we don't know. But just looking at her picture, there's a lot of, there's a lot of Spaniard in her. You let yourself walk up on a woman who had the capacity to homeschool her daughter. You basically tried to boss up on my mom, Mother Matthews, and Grandma Phillips. You stepped up on a woman of their intelligence, black women of their intelligence, and they are making you feed their daughter now. You big dummy. And see, you cannot afford, ladies, to connect yourself and your children to big dummies. Neither the big dummies who can, I don't know, blow 120, 130, 140, $150 million in 4 months, or the people who admire them. The culture is toxic. Just accept it. And I'm not just talking about black men. We know what the voter numbers are to do the foolery that we're dealing with right now. People are talking about 135% actual inflation going on right now. That's not being picked up by the employer numbers. It is not possible to blame Joe Biden for this because Mr. Biden is not on television telling everybody what he's planning to do and destabilizing the economy of the world every day. We know it's not Mr. Biden at this point. It's Mr. Trump's economy and all the people who regret their vote. Now, you big dummies, we already told you what was going to happen. But see, that's what I'm saying. The culture of American men, majority, is toxic because they will vote against their best interests just because they hate you so much. Project 2025 has black women as the problem. The country is 40% single mothers at this point, according to them, and the only women mentioned are black women. Although if you know demographics, since you know the majority of women are white, if you have a number that high, but they don't dare talk about white women like that. No, because some of them wrote Project 2025. Do you know who used to control abortions in the Greco-Roman world back in the time of the Caesars? Men don't want to end abortion. They just want control of who gets one and who doesn't at their command. That's where they're going. They don't want to end it. They want to have control of who makes it here and who doesn't. That's all that is. And for trying to get control by getting someone who they figure they could control and get to do stuff, we're going to be going into a rather severe recession, probably by the end of the year or early next. When folks can't buy their holiday trinkets, when even the chocolate cycle at Halloween begins to collapse. I never thought I'd say that, but I have said before that, if things get bad enough, you will see collapses even to that level. The culture of men that put that position in place, it doesn't matter. We're beyond Shannon Sharpe. These are people that hate other people so much, women in particular, that they will cut their own throats. You cannot afford to be dependent in your mind on men like that. Stephanie Perry has been saying forever about American men. Nope. Just like the passport bros talk about American women. Well, the culture is corrupt. I'm getting ready to do a video about zero knowledge Christians found in the wild. Oh my gosh. We done looked up on a whole apostle, y'all. And not any of the ones you thinking about in the Christian world, because most of them are outright heretics. We're not even talking about that. All the women in these churches who think they are dependent on these no good men, though, who then are going to do what Love My Ex calls abuse recruiting on other women. You have to stay clear of it. You have to get skills, you have to get knowledge, you have to get located where you do not have to depend on these type of men. Why? Because sooner or later, everything they touch turns to dust. Shannon Sharpe has taken his own legacy and even dragged down part of his brother's legacy and turned it on his lust to dust. From lust to dust. Staying clear of these men is a must. All right, I gotta go out and get my walk done. Y'all have a good day now. Goodbye.